Curious what colleges are looking for and worried that it might kind of be a mystery? Actually, it's not a mystery because my friends at the National Association of College Admission Counseling, aka NACAC, released a report called the State of College Admission Report. It looks like this. And what they found after asking hundreds of colleges and universities, what do you care about, is that there are 7 factors that are the most important. And I'm going to share with you a tip or resource for each one with lots and lots of links below. Number 1, grades and rigor. So the first 3 things listed on the State of College Admission Report relate to this. Grades, you know what that means. It's the grades you get in the class, but colleges care a little bit more about your college prep classes. Those courses like math and science and English and history, these are going to give them a sense of how you're going to perform in college. But they're also looking at something called rigor, which is to say, did you challenge yourself? Now, for those of you who are worried because you're like, oh, but my school doesn't offer this or doesn't offer that, colleges take this into account. And what they're looking for, broadly speaking, is did you make the most of the opportunities available to you? So, if your school offers honors, did you take honors? If they offer APs, did you take APs? Ask your counselor, is it easier for me to switch out of an advanced class or switch into it? Because a lot of times it's going to be easier to switch out of it than switch into it. And so maybe take the more advanced course. Now, besides this, in terms of rigor, colleges are also interested to see where did you create opportunities for yourself? Let's say your school doesn't offer a particular AP course, or maybe they don't offer a particular specific advanced math course. Well, could it be that you could self-study that AP course? Or maybe there's a community college that offers this particular advanced math course that you could take. If you do that, colleges love to see it, shows initiative. The second one, positive character attributes. Now, I know that couldn't sound more vague, and believe me, it's not the same at every college. But broadly speaking, what this means is there are certain qualities like intellectual curiosity and collaboration that colleges are looking for. But there's no master list, and it's going to differ from college and university to college and university. The good news is some schools, you can actually Google it. Like you can Google Caltech, what we look for, and there's a website where you can actually see what Caltech looks for. But not every school does that. If you want to learn more about this and how colleges even like figure out what they're looking for, check out my podcast episode with Tom Baer, Bob Massa, and Trisha Anderson from Harvard's Making Caring Common project, and they walk you through all the different ins and outs of this. Number 3, essays and writing sample. So broadly speaking, what are these? This might be your personal statement, or it might be the supplemental essays that you write for a particular institution, which is to say all the essays that they require besides your main, say, 650-word essay. Now, these are important for a few reasons. First of all, essays can help demonstrate fit to a university. In other words, is this student likely to contribute well and fit in with our campus community? They're also useful for demonstrating what I call these positive character attributes. And there's a third piece of demonstrated interest, which is to say, hey, based on these essays, can we tell if we accept this student, if they're likely to accept us back? If you're looking for help or not sure where to start on the personal statement, we've got an awesome free guide to the personal statement linked below with guidance on brainstorming and even how to structure your essay. But also reach out to us because we help students with their essays, whether you can pay for help or if you're a low-income student and want free help, we've got you. Number 4 is one of those that might actually surprise you, and it's called demonstrated interest, which broadly speaking means how much do you like the school? And probably in parentheses, how likely are you to enroll if they actually accept you? Now, does every college care about this? No, not necessarily. UCLA doesn't care at all if you demonstrate interest, aka if you're on their email list or whatever. Smaller liberal arts colleges like Bates, for example, really do care. So you do want to get on their email list and click the emails when they send them to you. How do you find out how much a college cares about demonstrated interest? Google the name of the school plus the words common data set. And you spell that like this. Go to their common data set, click on it, scroll down to section C7 and look and see if it's considered or not considered, if it's important or not important. If it's not important or not considered, don't worry about it. But if it is important or considered, I've got a whole guide to demonstrated interest, also linked below this video, and it will show you what you can do or not do if you don't want to stress out about demonstrated interest and how that might impact your application chances. Coming in hot at number 5, we've got recommendation letters from teachers and from counselors. Now, if you're wondering what's the difference between a counselor recommendation letter and a teacher recommendation letter, think of it like this. A teacher is going to write about how you've performed in their class in particular. So to use a theater nerd analogy, it's like a spotlight on how you've performed academically in the classroom. Whereas the counselor letter brings up the house lights and they want to see who are you you in the context of your school community. Now, why do they care about this? Well, obviously they want to see who are you going to be in the classroom? Are you going to thrive? Are you going to be able to do our level work in the classroom? But also they want to know who are you going to be as a contributing member of our community. Now, you probably know I was going to say this, but we've got complete guides for how to get a great teacher recommendation, how to get a great counselor recommendation. And fun fact, if you're a counselor teacher, we've also got guides for you, also linked below. Number 6 is extracurricular activities. And this could be anything from a sport you play, to a club that you take part in, to a community service project, or even like a personal project that you've taken on. Now, one of the things students stress out about a lot is how their application is going to be compared to like a student at another school with a whole bunch of extracurricular activity opportunities. And what I want to say to you is, y'all, don't worry so much about this, because admission officers really look at the opportunities that were available to you. So what you want to demonstrate in your application is that you've made the most of those opportunities, or if not, you've taken some initiative to create opportunities for yourself. So if you're worried about this, think about, okay, where have I taken initiative in the last few years? If you're, let's say, an 11th or 12th grader, where have I taken leadership? What have I created something where something didn't exist? That's what they want to see from your extracurricular activities. Or if you're a 9th or 10th grader, you can ask yourself, okay, where could I take initiative? Where could I create something or work on a problem that's in my school or in my community? Another thing that colleges really look for is evidence of impact. Who did you impact? If you raised money, what did you raise money for? To what extent did you impact people? If you were tutoring, did you really make a difference? Give us a little quote. Let us know how you impacted this particular person in this particular class. And how do you do this? In either your supplemental essays or in your activities list, you can use concrete numbers to give evidence of impact. So for example, you had a fundraiser, how much money did you raise? If you started a club, how many people were involved? If you were part of a club, how did you impact it? Use actual numbers. Below this video, I'll link to a whole bunch of examples where students put the specific activities that they did and the descriptions that they wrote for their actual applications. Standardized tests coming in at number 7. Now these are your SAT and ACT scores. And they used to be like relatively important in the process. They used to be like more important than essays, but something happened, a little something called the COVID pandemic. And when that happened, a lot of colleges found that students basically weren't able to get to testing centers. And so they became test optional, which meant, hey, if you submit a test score, great. If you don't submit a test score, that's okay too. We'll still consider your application. And then after we kind of returned things to normal, colleges saw that like, hey, we are able to enroll the class that we want. And so we're going to stay test optional. Whereas a few universities and colleges are like, you know what, we do want to start requiring tests again. Pro tip, for the schools that you're interested in applying to, find out if they are test optional, which means you don't have to test, or if they are requiring tests, in which case you maybe do want to test. Some students really stress out about standardized testing. I want to give you some advice from my friend and colleague Akil Bello, where he says, don't worry about like, do I want to submit my test scores today? Ask yourself first, do I even want to like prepare for this test? And then next, okay, once you prepare, do I even want to take it? Once you've taken the test, do I want to take it again? And then once you got your test scores, then ask yourself, okay, do I want to submit these test scores? Are these going to help me in my application chances? By the way, talk to your counselor about that. But like I said, before you do all that, don't be stressing about it. Don't borrow from tomorrow's troubles. I want you to focus on the things that you can control. Those are the top 7 things colleges care about. I hope you found this video useful. You'll find lots more free resources at collegeessayguy.com. I hope you found this useful. If so, like, subscribe. You know I was going to say that. Hit me up with some, I don't know, some nice comments. Say some nice things. I do read these comments. Much love. See you soon.